Welcome to class. Hopefully you're at the right link. My name is Ken Hicks, and this is POLS 1113, American Federal Government, which is part of RSU's General Education Requirement. So, to describe the course, American Federal Government is sort of like Citizenship 101. The idea behind it is that if you know how the government works and if you know what your rights are, you'll be more likely to be an informed and active citizen. Once you've worked your way through this course, here's what we expect you to know. You should know how American democracy works and how it doesn't work to some extent, as well as understanding the major political institutions of our constitutional system and how they interact with one another. You should be able to analyze major political trends, events, and personalities. You should be able to evaluate political systems and processes. And lastly, you should be able to demonstrate an understanding of American history and major social trends of family, education, politics, economics, and/or religious institutions. Now, as far as the required materials, we have a text, the Benjamin Ginsberg, Theodore Lowy, Margaret Ware, and Robert Spitzer book, We the People, which is in the 12th edition. I think we are about this published by W.W. Norton and Company. I believe the edition that you will be using is called the Oklahoma edition, which will have a chapter within it, a 15th chapter that is on state and local government, written by my colleagues, Dr. Steve Housel and Carolyn Taylor. As for course requirements, there are 1,000 points distributed relatively evenly over 4 broad categories of assignments. Forums, which are weekly in nature. I'll post weekly instructions for participation in the forums, which is basically a substitute for classroom discussion. So each weekly forum will be worth 20 points. In order to earn full credit, you'll need to make an initial post of at least 75 words by Tuesday of the relevant week that demonstrates that you have read the material and are at least trying to understand it. Then you need to make at least 4 posts in excess of 50 words each over the course of the remainder of the week, and they have to be distributed over, over a majority of those days. That means you can't plug in the last day of the forum and make 4 posts and expect to earn full credit, nor can you just make all of your posts on Tuesday. I want you to participate over the course of the week because I think that's the best way to model a classroom discussion. So there are 2 basic kinds of posts that I'm looking for. The initial post is sort of a summary post, okay, demonstrating to me that you're, reading the material and you're looking at it seriously. Now, that could mean that you provide a brief summary, or it could mean that you tell me something about the assigned reading that in your view is most important, from the perspective that you're looking at it. Or you can post questions that, are provoked by your reading, especially if you find some aspect of the chapter or kind of the politics that's being described confusing or hard to understand. Your remaining posts should be interactive in nature. In other words, you should be engaging with one another or with me in a discussion of the material. Now, what I don't want to see is a bunch of mutually congratulatory, wow, what a great post, Skylar. I never thought of it that way. Those kinds of posts they might make you feel better, but they're not really demonstrating that you're learning anything other than how to schmooze one another, which I don't find that valuable. Okay, so you need to engage, and you need to, at least, at some points, disagree with one another. So remember, at least 1 summary post by Tuesday of the relevant week, and then at least 4 other posts distributed over the course of the week. And that's worth 20 points each week. Weekly quizzes are also worth 320 points. Each week you'll be responsible for taking a quiz that will test your knowledge of the assigned material. There will be a set number of questions drawn from a larger universe in random order, and the options will similarly be randomized. Each quiz will be timed for 45 minutes, and they'll be worth 20 points. Most of the questions will be multiple choice, which will be worth 1 point each. And then there will be a bonus question that's either concept identification or short answer that's going to be worth 5 points. There are 3 examinations worth 100 points each that take up a portion of the chapters. You'll see in the syllabus that certain chapters 1 through 3 plus the state and local supplement comprise Unit 1. Chapters 4 through 8 comprise Unit 2. And then chapters 9 through 14 comprise Unit 3. You'll be required to take those examinations. You'll have 2 hours to take them, and they will be comprised, again, of multiple choice, concept IDs, and short answers. And the concept IDs and short answers comprise about 60% of the test. So you need to, demonstrate to me through your writing that you understand the material. There are 2 short writing assignments that are worth 60 points, or that are worth 30 points each, a total of 60 points. That again, I'm looking for you to demonstrate to me that you're thinking and that you're analyzing certain kinds of material. The first short writing assignment deals with political socialization. The second one is a critical writing assignment that's worth, again, 30 points, that's due in week 15. So again, that's 60 points, so 1,000 points over the course of the semester. That's only 6% of your grade, but you're learning how to write, which is very important. There's an extra credit assignment that's worth, there's the potential for extra credit if you feel like you need it. That's worth up to 10% of the total points for the class, so you can earn 100 points worth of extra credit if you find yourself feeling like you're not doing as well as you think you should. Late assignments. I'm generally pretty lenient about accepting late work, but I am going to penalize for lateness, especially if you are chronically tardy with getting material in. So you will only typically receive partial credit for late assignments. If you alert me ahead of time that you're having difficulty meeting a deadline, I'll generally be a lot more forgiving, okay, and I'll subsequently penalize less. With regard to deadlines, this is again a week-to-week course. And if you respect the deadlines will work for you. If you're getting your work in on time, you'll find that this material is not as hard to incorporate. As for grading policy, I am generally considered to be a tough A, but a relatively easy C. And what that means is you're going to have to work for it if you really want to earn an A. But if you're not particularly engaged in this class, but if you do the work and you try, and you'll probably be okay and get a C. The academic misconduct policy can be found on page 5 of the syllabus, and I can summarize that policy by saying, please don't cheat. It's bad. The students with disabilities statement, I will just read off the syllabus. Rogers State University is committed to providing students with disabilities equal access to educational programs and services. Any student who has a disability that he or she believes will require some form of academic accommodation must inform the professor of such need during or immediately following the first class attended. Before any educational accommodation can be provided, it is the responsibility of each student to prove eligibility for assistance by requiring for services through Student Affairs. Students needing more information about student disability services should contact who we just lost, the Vice President for Student Affairs, the number is 918-343-6828. A note on my teaching philosophy: I believe in the Socratic method, which involves asking questions to facilitate wide-ranging discussion of the material on which I'm teaching. I believe that students learn more and retain information more effectively when they are actively engaged in the learning process. This is a little bit harder in an online class, but I do try to facilitate, you guys actually working into stuff, and that's part of the reason why the forums are worth as much as they are. About me. My name is Ken Hicks. I'm an Army brat. I grew up mostly on Army bases in the Deep South. I earned my master's degree and PhD from the University of South Carolina, and I have been working here at Rogers State University since 1999, so I'm entering my 20th year on campus this fall. I am also department head of History and Political Science, which means that I'm around quite a bit. So if you have any questions, please feel free to stop by. Everything that I have said in this introduction can be found in the copy of the course syllabus, which can be found on the course links that are on the left of your of this course shell. The syllabus also contains a tentative course schedule, which you again can consult to see when assignments are due. I hope you enjoy this course, and I hope that we can learn a lot together.